All right, welcome into the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. It is the last show of 2025. It has been 363 days of the year, I believe. No, 364. I can't count. I don't know. It's late in the calendar year, but we are here on the second to last day. Yes, I don't know. This is getting off the rails. Jay Walsh, Jay DeCoster, Matt Merrifield joining us as always. Jay Walsh, we'll go to you first here. How are you doing on this post-Christmas but pre-New Year day?
We're doing all right. Had a good Christmas. Just had family in town. Pretty overall quiet, but just a good time. Ready to talk about some college football playoff matchups as we record here on December 30th, knowing that probably by the time this gets released, most of them, if not all of them, will have been played. But we'll preview them anyway.
I will get this out by tomorrow morning. This will be out before the first playoff game. Now the picks on Twitter, that's questionable. Those might make it out by January 3rd, but this video I will make sure gets out by tomorrow morning. Jay DeCoster, NFC North champion Jay DeCoster, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I mean, can't complain. Got Ben Johnson's about to put up 40 on Sunday. I don't know that, but yeah, I can't really complain. Got some good CFP matchups on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, so yeah, all is good. And we don't want to talk about Loyola and DePaul. Let's just put that to the side. And my brother is in the living room with my father watching Marquette for some reason. Because why would you subject yourself to that? As they had a player like a few days ago leave their program, so all is well with that program. So,
well, fun. Jay, as you know, that player didn't. The information out there was inaccurate in regards to the altercation on why he was released from the program, as the official Marquette basketball Twitter put out. Matt Merrifield, you were a little bit delayed getting here because you couldn't figure out your mic issues, but you are here. We can hear you. How are you doing today?
Absolutely spectacular. Other than the fact that, I don't know, the last 20 minutes, I guess, have been an absolute gong show between my mic not working, me. And for those that watched to the very end of our last episode, I decided to add at the last second a final pick of Tennessee minus. Doesn't even matter because they didn't win. So that's what I get for tailing Jay DeCoster. I'm sorry, Jay. I love you. Merry Christmas. But since prior to 20 minutes ago, everything was great. Where do we begin? I won a mini stick hockey tournament last week, Jay, at the Kovac property. The Kovac compound, as you will. So, yes, just imagine a bunch of 23-year-olds and 25-year-olds playing ball hockey on their knees in their parents' basement the night before Christmas. So that was a great time. UTSA I can wear this hat proudly until August 30th because they went out and put B to A on Pitbull. So shout out the Roadrunners, Jeff Traylor, best coach in the state of Texas. I don't know what else. Oh, and of course, in honor of your jersey, Nick, Macklin Celebrini, Olympian, and future Hart winner with Igor Chernyshov on his left wing. So overall, pretty good week, if I don't say so myself.
You didn't want to mention Michigan State winning back-to-back GLIs?
How could I? You're right. How could I forget Michigan State hockey winning the most important holiday hockey tournament? No fake quick trip holiday face-off in Milwaukee where a certain team didn't allow their players to go to international tournaments so that way they could win a tournament where the other teams were all shorthanded. So, but hey, the GLI, even down Porter Martone and Riker Lee, Spartans find a way to get done, and others. So, go green, baby. This is the year. It's coming home.
There's no better place for it to come home than Las Vegas, Nevada. Just saying. Wow. What a week it has been for college football. Bulls galore. You have people calling for the death of Bulls. You have people saying Bulls should never die. You have Pop-Tarts getting toasted, Pop-Tarts on the run. You got blowouts, you got close games, you got everything in between. But before we fully get into the college football playoff quarterfinal games, given that this is our last episode of 2025, figured we should take a look back on the year and just kind of go through a quick discussion of our favorite moments of 2025. So as I explained in the pre-show, I didn't really explain it all. I just said, I'm going to go first and give you some examples because this is a three-pronged question. I would like your personal favorite moment of 2025, like as a neutral point of view, like the best sports moment or event of 2025 and what you're looking forward to in 2026. So as I said, I'm going to go first just to kind of lead off, give ideas, and hopefully we can start from there. My personal favorite moment, it wasn't really close. It's Tottenham winning the Europa League. There's just nothing better than that. That was, I know some people are thinking you became a Grey Cup owner. You know, you won a Grey Cup. I'm sorry. Tottenham kind of are over on top of that. Just, it is what it is. That's my personal favorite. My favorite, like, out event was, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, the neutral point of view was the Four Nations. I think that was the best thing a league has done this decade. And that includes, you know, both the NBA and NHL doing bubbles for COVID to get their seasons finished. The Four Nations was the best thing I think we've seen in a long time. And I will use that as an example later in the show for a question I'm going to ask Jay Walsh and Jay DeCoster, because I know Matt Merrifield knows the answer, but I don't know if the other two do. But I will use that as an example. And biggest thing I'm looking forward to in 2026, quite easy, probably, is the World Cup. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out here in America. It could be a shit show. It could be the greatest thing ever. Who knows? So given that, I'm going to hand the floor off to Mr. Justin Walsh here. Let's go to you first here.
So in terms of my personal favorite sports moment over the last year, it's a little tough for me to pick just because, you know, a lot of my favorite sports teams have been so utterly pathetic. I would have to say it's not one particular moment, but I would have to stretch it to the first half of the season pre-All-Star break of the Detroit Tigers. That was just a magical time to be a Tigers fan. We don't talk about what happened during the All-Star game or God knows what happens after. Just that one little stretch. It was just peak Tiger baseball when they were off to one of the hottest starts ever. Best record in baseball. Just was an absolute wonderful time. In terms of the best just kind of overall event to happen, this is probably going to be a little bit controversial, and it's hard for me to necessarily say it's the best because I do have feelings on the topic that I have shared in the past. But in terms of historical significance, I have a hard time getting past the Dodgers becoming the first team to go back-to-back in the World Series since 2000. I mean, it's just a very significant moment. Obviously, the whole salary cap situation in baseball is very much up in the air. Like I said, I've shared my feelings on that. But in terms of kind of most historically significant event of the year, that has to be it. In terms of what I'm looking forward to the most in 2026, looking forward to it / dreading it / kind of excited about it. I don't know how to feel yet. Has to be the beginning of the Pat Fitzgerald tenure at Michigan State. Obviously, I mean, a lot of divisive opinions within the fan base on a lot of the personnel hirings that he's been making to his staff. I think people are overall pretty happy about the defensive side. The offensive side has definitely been a little bit lacking, but I am still very much looking forward to seeing kind of the future of MSU football moving forward next year.
Jay, I'll go to you next here. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, recency bias. I think this is no doubt. Like, this is a pretty obvious one. It was the DJ Moore catch against Green Bay. Like, that basically won the Bears the division. It was nothing short of amazing because obviously, Nick, as you know, 16-6, like you need to recover the onside kick, and the Bears somehow recover and they somehow win that game. And next thing you know, they're on top. They're still on top of the division. So that has to be mine. I don't think there's any question in terms of like a series of events. It was Michigan State basketball. Like their run. I know they didn't make the Final Four, but they're beating Michigan twice. You know, call me up short in the Elite Eight, but that team was so fun to watch with Jace Richardson and Cohen Carr. That March Madness run was very fun to watch, and also just winning the Big Ten regular season title was also very fun. That team overall was just fun to watch, and March Madness was, for Michigan State fans, was overall just fun again. So those are two moments for me, I think, that stood out.
Do you have a moment? I mean, we all know what 2026 moment of the year is going to be for Jay. It's the Bears Super Bowl. Caleb Williams Super Bowl MVP.
That'd be yes, that will be it. But gotta get a defense first before that happens. But
I'm sure Brian Urlacher is available.
what were you saying?
I said I'm sure Brian Urlacher is available.
You just get Lance Briggs out of retirement while you're at it.
Bring them all back. 85 Bears.
Yeah. Bring him back.
Well, let's see. For a lot of good answers have already been taken. I think for just a straight up sports moment of the year, yes, the Dodgers went back to back is impressive, but that World Series in and of itself was an all timer. So I think from that standpoint, that might have been like the just on the field moment of the year. I think it's something that needs to be said. Just for the moment, I truly never forget, even if somebody doesn't care about the NBA, the Luka Doncic trade was a big deal. And I think that, that's going to be a trade that we look back on in 20 years, like the Herschel Walker trade and others, just in terms of A, how could somebody be so stupid? But also B, just the ramifications of then the Cooper flag ends up in Dallas. Now, is it actually going to matter? Maybe not, because once again, like I said, that rebuild is in complete disarray, but just so many what ifs coming off of that moment. And it's not every year or every decade you see a superstar like Luka Doncic get traded like that in the middle of the night. So I think that one's a pretty big one. Personally, I mean, I have to say Michigan State winning that Big Ten title. That was, I mean, that was awesome. Being in the building just simply for that day. I mean, the run itself was special. And even though I think this year's team is better than last year, even without Jace Richardson, last year's team was just so refreshing to watch. And then I guess my personal moment that I was at, it has to be the frozen confines, even though it was like the third day of 2025. Nobody cares about outdoor college hockey, but for the people that were there, Jay DeCoster was there as well. I don't even know if he remembers it, considering how many beverages he had consumed that day. But that was a pretty cool moment being right there on the glass. So as much as I froze my ass off. So and for 2026, I'm gonna have to go with the Olympics for Olympic hockey specifically. Because for as good as Four Nations was, I think we're in for something completely different in terms of what we're going to get in Milan. My only concern is that it's not in a hockey country. Like Milan, people in Milan don't give a shit. But like if it was in Vancouver, like 2010, if it was in Sochi, if it was anywhere in the US, anywhere in any of the, honestly, probably top 6 hockey countries in the world. And I think this would be just an absolute, every game would have the environment needed. But I still think it's going to be awesome because not only do you have the 4 best teams in the world, but then you also have, as we're seeing in the World Juniors, Czechia's got some talent. Slovakia has talent now. Germany, for a professional side of things, actually has a pretty good hockey team. So I'm so excited. Nick, how many teams do we have playing in the Olympics? Do you know off the top of your head? Is it 12?
12.
12.
It's 12 for men, 10 women.
And outside of France and Italy, I think everybody really, you're going to see good competitive hockey. So, and obviously most of these guys haven't played on that. I mean, other than last year for the Four Nations, still over half the field has not played on an international stage like this before. And playing for a gold medal, it matters truly, even as much as a fake gold medal in the Four Nations matters. This matters more. So I'm very excited for Milan to get started, obviously with the rosters coming out this week.
Yeah, as you mentioned, rosters coming out this week. They're actually due in about, I think, under 12 hours from when we're recording. So they kind of spread out how they're announcing them. I know Canada is tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern. The U.S. is doing it on the Today Show on January 2nd.
What?
Yeah.
When you said it was the second, I thought they were going to do it during the Winter Classic like they used to do.
I thought they were going to do that too, but then I saw that they're announcing the men's, women's, and para ice teams on the Today Show on Friday.
With all due respect, I do not need Whoopi Goldberg's thoughts on Matthew Tkachuk. I'm just saying. Time out, Gary. I don't know who made this call, but no. I'm sorry, but also I'm not sorry. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know what we're doing. I guess they want to get this to as big a crowd as possible. I mean, it makes sense. NBC has the Olympics. Hockey's going to be the most watched event. Tie in there. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of reasons to explain it. But I mean, if you do think about it, Matt, truly, there's probably more viewers of the Today Show than there will be for the Winter Classic, which I guess will turn me into my question right now for Jay Walsh and Jay DeCoster. Do either of you know who's playing in the Winter Classic on Friday? And do you know where it is?
Okay. I think we talked about this. Is it in Florida?
It is in Florida.
Okay, so it's the Panthers.
Yep.
Okay, are they playing it? I don't know. Are they playing at like the Marlins Stadium? There's no way.
There is a way. If there's a will, there's a way.
They're playing it at the Marlins. Oh my god!
Yeah, just so you know, this is all you, Mr. DeCoster. I got nothing here.
Are they playing the Lightning?
No,
they're not playing the Lightning. Even though that would have made the most sense, they are not playing the Lightning.
But then the Lightning couldn't host their own outdoor game this year, Nick. Silly
this is true.
So true. Eastern and Western Conference.
Eastern.
The Rangers.
The Rangers is the answer.
They did so much better than I thought he was going to do.
Wow.
Absolute heater.
The original six, get the ratings.
Original six. There's nothing original about hockey in Florida, but you're not wrong.
Why are they what has happened in the Winter Classic? Now, I know they went to Texas to play in the Cotton Bowl. That was pretty cool. But the fact they're having it in Miami is just insane.
The biggest issue, and this goes back to why I hate TNT having the NHL, Nick, is that there's no national channel. Nobody watches TNT. Sure, when the game's out, as much as I hate ESPN's production of hockey, the casual fan and the casual sports fan could stumble their way through their clicker and end up on ABC. Nobody stumbles onto TNT. So that's the problem. Even as much as TNT does a good job, and the fact that the Winter Classic, your biggest regular season game of the year, is on said channel, no wonder the ratings have tanked. I mean, it's
I was also gonna guess Hard Rock Stadium, but obviously they have the Orange Bowl, so I mean that just wouldn't work. So
yeah, there's only two stadiums available. So
Marlins Park it is. So,
but that led back to the question I asked you, Matt. Is I have no idea where they could even potentially go for 2027. Nothing just feels right. So I guess we'll see. I'm sure Gary will have an announcement at some point.
Respectfully, I don't
know. They're gonna play at Rice Eccles for the Mammoth. That would be sick.
Not a bad idea. Problem is that with the college football playoff, not that Utah has a shot in hell of making the playoff next year. but there's a tight turnaround time between the hosting the playoff game. So that's as Nick and I found out today, the production for the rink in Miami started before the first round of the playoffs started. But once again, it'll be cold enough in Utah. They don't have to worry about keeping a baseball field frozen for 3 weeks just to pray that this game can actually be played on this ice.
Yeah, they've had the roof closed since like December 1st and have been pumping in 60-degree air. And they're going to open the roof on game day.
And then we're going to find out tomorrow afternoon, Nick, that some janitor left the back door open and the ice melted.
Probably. But hey, then they can just close the roof and we'll play a large indoor game because that will make so much sense. We've rambled.
You can't even get people for baseball in that place. Do you think people are going to show up for hockey? I'm sorry. This Winter Classic is so stupid. I want them to can the event. It has to sound like a 10-year-old. It has no aura.
It's just gotten too far. It's like it used to be really sick when like the Red Wings played the Blackhawks at Wrigley, but then it's gotten just like very dry.
It's not special anymore. It used to be, and that's fine. But instead, we have games on a channel nobody watches for teams nobody cares about. I mean, people do care about the Panthers. Well, I don't know if people actually care about the Panthers, but they do care about the Rangers sometimes. And I just, it's a fucking disaster. So, but this is a football betting show this is a show. I don't even know if it is a lot of things. So let's move on instead of me getting more and more angry.
Oh, I'm completely fine with that. I was getting ready to turn the page right here. Let's get into some college football playoff quarterfinal action. We're going to start out in the desert where UConn won their 2024 national championship at State Farm Stadium as Miami takes on Ohio State. The Buckeyes are 9.5-point favorites. The over-under is 41.5. Jay DeCoster, I'll go to you first here. This is going to be our first time seeing Ohio State in the playoff, our first time seeing them since they lost to Indiana in the Big Ten title game. What are you looking to see from the Buckeyes in this one?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the point spread, I'm not touching this game. I just the way Miami looked last week, yes, their defense is really good. But the thing I'm looking forward to is the front fours of both of these teams. Like it's gonna be really fun to watch with Bain and you know, a lot of the guys Ohio State has, the entire front four, the front seven, I should say, is going to be really fun to watch. So in the trenches, I'm very excited to watch those matchups. But you know, we'll see if Miami's defense can handle it. Like I don't trust Carson Beck against this defense. Like Ohio State's defense is just way better than Texas A&M's. And I mean, you saw that game last week. It was just disgusting football, like defensive football with a bunch of missed kicks. I'd probably go under here. I mean, and if you had to make me make a pick under my head, probably I go Miami plus 9.5, but I don't like that at all. Ohio State's I think is going to win, but I could see this being a little closer than people think. Just because Miami's defense is still really good. We'll see if the rest versus Russ factor plays in for Ohio State, like we saw last year, with all four of those teams getting knocked out. Now, granted, Boise State was in there, but still, like, we'll see how that plays. So it's gonna be fun, intriguing to watch. But give me the Buckeyes to advance.
Matt, I'll go to you next here. Jay mentioned last year all four teams that played in the first round ended up winning their quarterfinal games. Does this give Miami a better shot in this game, or do you think Ohio State still is going to kind of roll in this game as Vegas has the line at 9.5?
I'm gotta be honest. I'm so torn on this game. I left it out of my parlay because last year does scare me. The fact that all four teams out of bye lost. Then again, you look at Ohio State and they rolled their way to the national championship game, and even they really controlled that game against Notre Dame. And I think I said it going to conference championship week, or maybe it was the last episode we did about how I think Ohio State's going to turn it on, just like they did. It was a wake-up call, and they're that good. But looking at the three teams they've played this year with a pulse, or at least half a pulse, Texas, Michigan, and Indiana, all three of those games, or none of them have gone above 40 points in total. The highest scoring being Michigan versus Ohio State. I think the possessions are going to be far and few between. It's going to be slow. It's going to be another rock fight. I think the under is the best play. And I guess in turn, you have to take Miami at plus 10 or at plus 10, plus 9.5, whatever you can get it at. I don't feel good about it because I know how good Ohio State can be when they feel like running the offense the way it's meant to be run. But they don't always do that. And both defenses, I mean, truly, the two defenses on both sides, in my opinion, Miami's defense is better than Indiana's. And you're going to expect me to think that Carson Beck can put up points on the Ohio State defense. I don't think so. I guess a couple of storylines to watch out for is I believe Miami's running back was originally committed to Ohio State, and he's a Miami guy through and through. If I remember the broadcast beating it into my head against Texas A&M, and then Ohio State doesn't have a great history of playing on New Year's Eve. So sorry, but other than that, I really got nothing. I'm excited to watch this game, but I expect it to be low scoring.
Jay Walsh, your thoughts here. Obviously, Miami, it was kind of just a knockout, drag out game against A&M. I mean, that game, very, very low scoring. Are you kind of expecting to see the same here? And is that the key to Miami's success here, is if they keep this low and just gritty victories?
I definitely think it is. Just because, I mean, as we've mentioned already, Ohio State's defense is phenomenal. Miami's not going to win this game scoring 30, 40 points. They need to hold Ohio State's offense in check and get what they can against this defense. I do want to kind of piggyback on something that Jay said in terms of the rest versus rust factor. I mean, we saw how it turned out last year for all the teams that got the bye in the playoff. So I definitely think that could very well be a factor in this game. Not to mention, like we said, Miami is kind of the prime example of something that I like to point out in terms of there are good teams and there are talented teams. I've said all year, I don't think Miami is a very good team. There's no question they're a very talented team. I mean, they, especially on the defensive side of the ball and especially on their defensive line, their edge rushers, Bain and Masidor, or if that's how you pronounce his last name, they are phenomenal players. They really are. They're both going to be in the NFL. I could definitely see them giving this Ohio State offensive line a little bit of trouble. And I do kind of like what Matt said about, everybody that Ohio State's played this year that has a pulse, they really haven't blown the doors off of. So I do like Miami to cover the 9.5 here. I think I still take Ohio State to win, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. And I really like the under here just because, like I said, I think both of these defenses are very talented. So I could very easily see this being like a 17-14 type game.
Yeah, I kind of agree with everything that's been said here. This game it just has the feeling of low scoring. Out of the other three games, it has the smallest over under. I think that's going to be quite the sign that this game is going to be 14, 10, or like Jay Walsh said, 17-14, maybe something along those lines, which obviously opens the door to Miami at 9.5. I do think there is a potential this game stays under and Ohio State covers that number, just with the way their offense has played in games this year. The question is, will we see that offense that just lights out? I don't know. I'm going to stay just safely here. I'm just going to take the under. Past that, though, I think Ohio State wins. I don't know if they cover, though. Let's move on. New Year's Day, your first football action of 2026. It's an early kickoff for both of these teams as it's noon on the East Coast. It is at the Hard Rock Stadium for the Orange Bowl. It is Oregon, who is a 2.5-point favorite against Texas Tech. The over-under is 51.5. Matt, I'll go to you first here. A little bit of a spoiler, but Oregon is the only team that is a favorite of the teams that have played last week. Obviously, Texas Tech coming into this game, winning the Big 12, probably their best season in school history. How do you see this one playing out?
This is first off, this game is the most excited I am to watch in terms of the 4 matchups this weekend. So from that standpoint, I am excited to watch. Nice early kickoff on New Year's Day. I lean Texas Tech. Now, I am quite torn because you look at Texas Tech's schedule, and it consists of BYU twice, who is good, but clearly matchup-wise, Texas Tech, for the amount of money they spend on that defensive line, there's no reason for them to lose either one of those matchups. And then they beat Utah. The rest of the schedule is pretty bare. Now, Oregon, on the other hand, I think I see through Oregon, in my opinion. As the year's gone on, I've liked them less and less. Going to Happy Valley, going to the whiteout, and I think there is something to be thought of what Penn State was number 2 when that game was played. Like, there is a mental side of it where the psychology part of, they're the number 2 team, you're playing in the whiteout. It's going to be a close game. So you play Penn State 3 weeks later after James Franklin's been fired. Those are 2 completely different football teams in terms of confidence. Like I mentioned, the psychology part of it. So, but they didn't look good at home against Indiana. Now, Indiana really good, yes, but Oregon should not have gotten bodied in that game like they did on the line of scrimmage. They struggled with Iowa. I like Texas Tech. I think they spent way too much money on that team not to win this football game. I believe I would love to know if this game features the 2 most expensive rosters in college football. I have to imagine it comes close. Now, all these teams still remaining spent quite a bit of money to put these teams together. And I guess if you're looking for some on the field side of things for Oregon, yes, their offense looked spectacular. They were running a perfection drill against James Madison. James Madison on defense just did not have anybody that was in the same speed class as what Oregon has on the perimeter. And Oregon's defense struggled, for all things considered, giving up 34 points. Now, part of that was JMU's offensive coordinator had an incredible game plan, and JMU just didn't quit. They kept with it. They're not going to have that luxury against Texas Tech where they're going to be able to convert everything on offense. So it'll be up to Dante Moore a little bit. But I like Texas Tech as a dog. We'll have to wait and see.
Jay Walsh, go to you next here. As Matt said, Texas Tech, obviously not the greatest of schedules this year, but they have handled what they've been given. Obviously, you can only play who's on your schedule. How do you see this playing out on somewhat early Thursday in Miami Beach?
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I really don't. I've kind of said all year that neither of these teams have really played a great schedule. The entire season I had Oregon ranked lower than either the College Football Playoff Committee or the AP poll had them throughout the season, just because I didn't really believe that they belonged as high as they were because of their schedule. Texas Tech, kind of similar. I mean, Texas Tech, I think, had a lot more convincing wins, and especially down the stretch, their defense looked phenomenal. I think in their final 4 games, I don't think they gave up double-digit points once, including that Big 12 championship game against BYU. So, I mean, I think Texas Tech is the better team here. I really do. I like Oregon's offense. I think Dante Moore is one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Obviously, I mean, they always have solid skill position players. They're gonna put up their points, but I think Texas Tech's defense is good enough to hold them in check enough for the Texas Tech offense to do what they do. And as Matt pointed out, that Oregon defense did not look frightening last week. So I think Texas Tech looked at that, and I think they've been working on their game plan. I really like Texas Tech in this spot. This is going to be part of my parlay this week is Texas Tech plus 2.5. In terms of the over-under, I definitely think this is an over-type game just because, like I said, I think Oregon is going to be able to put up their points, but I think Texas Tech is going to put up more. So this is a game that I could very easily see being kind of winning team scores mid-high 30s and losing team not too far behind that. So,
Jay, I'll go to you next here.
Yeah, I'm also on Texas Tech. I think I think I could see it being a high scoring game. Now, I could see it being, Texas Tech is up 3. Oregon has the ball late in the fourth quarter, and that's when Tech's $7 million defensive line shows up, and they make a big stop. I can definitely see that playing out. I just think their D line is just way too dominant with Ramel Height and David Bailey. I mean, those are 2 first and second round draft picks. And like Matt said, the 2 most expensive rosters in college football. We'll see which one can get over the hump. But I mean, I just like Texas Tech's defense a little more here. I just think they're the more talented group. And we'll see how Baron Morton shows up, in this type of stage. And this is obviously, their schedule wasn't, both these teams' schedules weren't too daunting, but I like Texas Tech here. I really like their defense and the way they constructed their roster. It's been we'll see how the rust versus rest, like we talked about the Miami game, shows out. But yeah, I'll take Texas Tech. So.
And Matt, you didn't bring it up, but I know you sent it to me. The Oregon uniform matchup for this game. I know you love it, which means that they're going to lose. I believe that's what you said.
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around. When they look good, they do well. Because last year's Rose Bowl was atrocious, and it was an atrocious uniform matchup, and they then got blown out by Ohio State. I think Oregon wins this game. I think they cover. Obviously, 2.5 is good enough number. I like them to do that. I like to what everybody kind of said here. The over kind of feels like the play here. This feels like a 35-28 game or something like that. It's going to be high scoring, back and forth, back and forth. Somebody's going to make a big play. I think it's going to be Oregon, but we'll see. Let's move on.
Nick, I do have a point to back support my my gray pants situation, the uniforms. Would you like to guess the previous 2 playoff/national championship games that Oregon has worn gray pants for?
I'm aware of this stat. Wasn't it last year's Rose Bowl and then 2015 national championship against Ohio State?
Well, 2015 they wore them. They didn't wear them last year. It was the national championship against Auburn. They wore gray pants. So not a great.
Then.
And then they also wore it against Stanford in 2012, which I guess was a big upside. I have no recollection of that game, so I'll take this website's word for it. But
okay,
history not on the Ducks side.
Hey, 2026 is a new year for history to be born, and that it's going to be the first game of 2026.
Can Dan Lanning win the big game?
That's another great question. This is a big game. Can he do it? We'll find out on Thursday. Let's move on to the granddaddy of them all, the place where it never rains except for this year or next year, I guess, apparently. It is the Rose Bowl. Alabama traveling out to Pasadena. Face the Indiana Hoosiers, who are there for the first time since the 1960s. Indiana is a 7.5 point favorite. The over-under here is 48.5. Jay Walsh, I'll go to you first here. I feel like the national media is not giving Alabama a chance here. Poor old Alabama, just going to get stomped over by the mighty Indiana Hoosier. How is this game going to play out?
I will tell you, this is the game I feel least confident picking. And it's of these 4 playoff games that we're outlining, it's the only one I didn't include in my parlay this week. I really do not feel confident picking this game. I think Indiana is the better team. Like I kind of made the distinction with Alabama that I made with Miami earlier, which is they're a talented team, but I haven't thought that they're really a good team all year. The difference between Alabama and Miami is Alabama's beaten people. I mean, Alabama has some good wins on the schedule. Obviously, I mean, Georgia being at the top of that list. This is really going to be an interesting game. If I have to lean one way, I would go the Hoosiers, but I don't know if this moment's going to be too much for them. Not to mention, I mean, Kalen DeBoer, I feel like we say it every single week, but I feel like at some point you have to keep saying you're coaching for your job, especially at Alabama, playing against Indiana in the Rose Bowl, coming off of victory that potentially kept him in Tuscaloosa. I don't know. I like I said, I'm leaning Indiana, but I do not feel good about it at all. I think I would roll with the under here. But yeah, I don't feel good about this game in the slightest.
Jay, I'll go to you next here. Are your feelings the same? Is this kind of just the worst game to pick out of the 4?
No, I'm going with Indiana. I know people are like, oh, Alabama's not ready for this, but Indiana's battle tested. Like, you've seen it. They went on the road to Oregon. They curb stomped them. They beat Ohio State. Like, they are proven, and Mendoza's the Heisman winner for a reason. This Indiana team is just really, really good, and I think they're going to be. I don't think they're going to. Maybe early they'll play a little sloppy, but it's just this Alabama team isn't what the past Alabama teams are. So I'll go Indiana. I trust Signetti. I trust Mendoza. Their O-line is really, really good. I think they're expecting Cooper to play, which is big. So give me Indiana. I'm all over them. I think they get it done.
Matt, I'll go to you next. How are you feeling about this potentially soggy Rose Bowl?
A rainy Rose Bowl is downright un-American. That needs to be said. That is absolutely heinous. I don't know what to say. I'm still pissed that Alabama beat Oklahoma. Like, that is absolute. How in the world did they win that football game? I didn't watch a single second of it. I was busy spending a night with a friend of the program, Luke Sloan, and I saw it was 14-0, and I just didn't even. One of the places we went to didn't even have a TV, or it did, but it was showing Christmas movies. So if you want me to tell you what happened, if you want to know how the Grinch stole Christmas, I could tell you that. Couldn't tell you how Alabama's leading rusher ran for 43 yards and they went on the road and won a playoff game. That's un-American too. I know Indiana's top D end is not playing because, if I remember correctly, he got hurt celebrating a Big Ten championship in Stephen Daly. I believe it's Stephen Daly. Not that it matters in terms of rush defense, because Alabama can't run the football anyways. Now, pass rush wise, yes, that hurts Indiana, of course. You know what? I had to think about this earlier. Truly, I don't want to take it, Indiana. Jay Walsh, should you take?
I very hesitantly took Indiana.
I was going to say, if in this situation, I would just close my eyes and ignore the logos, because I think that's my biggest hang up. But you know what? I'm taking Alabama. I'm rooting against them, but I'm taking them. They're going to cover it's 7.5, correct? Yes, I will take them north of a full touchdown. I hate it. It's absolutely disgusting. But Kalen DeBoer out on the West Coast, I don't like it at all. This sucks. but Roll Tide, I guess.
Well, I don't. Do you want the pick now, or do you want it in the picks? Because it is in my parlay.
Is it Alabama money line?
Only one team in this game has the Rose Bowl in their fight song. Fight on, fight on, fight on, men. Remember the Rose Bowl. We'll win then. Alabama money line.
Wait, hold on. They don't. What? Why is the Rose Bowl in their national? They're not their national anthem.
The Rose Bowl is a big part of Alabama football history.
Is it like being the leaders of the West?
No, this is actually real.
This is
So it will be the 100-year anniversary on Thursday. Alabama went to the Rose Bowl, faced off against Washington. This was Wallace Wade was coaching Alabama. There was a guy named Bear Bryant on the team. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Wallace Wade, like the Duke football stadium?
Yes, exactly. They traveled out to the Rose Bowl. They won 20-19 against Washington, and that is considered the day like Southern football became a thing to people, because no other like Southern team had ever played in a bowl game against like one of the power opponents, and Washington was a power opponent back then. And Alabama won. That was their first national championship. They went 10-0. And they played, I believe 4 more Rose Bowls in that era. I believe it was the 26 Rose Bowl, the 27 Rose Bowl, 31 and 35. Sounds about right there. I think they won all 4 of those. I could be wrong. Somebody should probably fact check me. But this is history for Alabama. They love the Rose Bowl.
I love watching Jay and Jay Walsh check their phones at the group chat.
I mean, you're not wrong there. This was all that Alabama team that went to the Rose Bowl was the one that established the forward pass in the South. So give me Alabama money line. They have vibes of Ohio State last year. What can I say?
Was Forrest Gump on this team?
No, Forrest Gump was not on this team.
Hey, let's move on to
the Sugar Bowl. Yes.
Lane Kiffin should do the coin toss.
He's apparently going to be at the game with the governor of Louisiana.
Now they really need to do the coin toss. He needs to get drunk like Joe Namath, wear a fur mink coat.
No, he needs to bring back the leather jacket he had on at the LSU game.
That's fine too. He needs to bring on and start using the biggest Louisiana drawl, even worse than Brian Kelly.
Me and my family.
Trinidad, do you want heads or tails? Gunner, you have won the toss. Do you elect to receive?
Good Lord. This show,
that's what the people want.
It's very much off the rails for the last episode of 2025. I wouldn't have it any other way. Georgia's a 6.5-point favorite at the Louisiana Superdome. Jada Coster, I'll go to you first here. I don't know what to even do here.
I'll do my best to do as good of a job as you did on that Southern accent. I'm taking Georgia. I just think Georgia. I know Georgia. I know Garner Stockton is kind of just a question mark, but I think they're just gonna be able to run the football pretty effectively. I just have a good feeling that they're just gonna not curb stomp them, but I just think it's a little too much for Ole Miss in this spot. I know it was a pretty good game. All right, well, my Wi-Fi decided to cut out. I was gonna say, Georgia I just think they're the better team. Ole Miss's offense absolutely just curb stomp Tulane. I mean, you're just going up against a different beast with this Georgia defense. So, give me the dogs. For 6.5, I feel like that's a safe number here. It's just too much for Ole Miss. So give me Georgia.
Jay, I would like to inform you because I don't know if you know, are you aware that Marquette has lost 79-73 to a 12-2 Seton Hall team?
Yeah, Shaka Smart needs to be fired in the sun. Get that guy out. Get him out.
With 3:25 left in the game, Marquette was up 73-66.
I mean, it's a disaster. Get him out of that program. Go bring back Buzz Williams while you're at it.
Matt, you've said a lot about this game already. Give me some more words about it.
Hottie toddy. I'm tempted to take Ole Miss money line. Absolutely love the Rebels in the spot. Could not love them more. They lost to Georgia, October, like 15th or something like that. Was the middle of October. And yes, Georgia, that was a great football game, one of the best games we've had of the year. And while Georgia is a good team, I think Ole Miss is better. I think that the team has done a good job of kind of rallying around just the situation that they're in with no Lane Kiffin. And as we've said before, it might be better that he's not there. Pete Golding ain't messing around. It's strictly business, as Lee Corso used to say. And it's hard to beat a team twice in the same season. This one is no longer in Athens. It's neutral site. I can't wait. I mean, as much as what was the second bowl bid for the Sugar Bowl? Was there never a second conference bid? Was it just the SEC versus whoever they chose to put there? I believe it was.
At some point, it was the Big 12 later on, but before then, I think it was just SEC versus kind of whoever. Because I know there were years like Ohio State and Illinois ended up there. So.
Well, you get, in my opinion, the two best teams in the SEC this year playing. I know, yes, Atlanta is the capital of the SEC, but playing in the Sugar Bowl New Year's Day, I can't wait for this game. Honestly, I might be more excited for this game than the Texas Tech Oregon game. I might have lied earlier. This one, I'm so primed up. Hottie toddy. I might get out the old Rebel Cup with the old guy sitting there smoking a stogie or whatever he's doing. I might watch The Blind Side before the game. Actually, don't. Tui family out, apparently. But Ole Miss in, Trinidad Chambliss in, Fair State, another national championship. And I don't know. Georgia, there's something about Georgia. Gunnar Stockton does not inspire me. He's a tough guy. He wills his way to wins, but truly he does not inspire me as a quarterback. And I think Ole Miss has got it. They got the defense this year, and the offense will take care of itself. They got studs all over the place, so I'm excited to watch. That is definitely. I'm going to make it official. That is the game of the weekend. That's the last one. Saving the best for last. Hottie toddy.
Well, it's not the last game of the weekend. It's the last game of the quarterfinals. But I get your point. Shout out SJ Tui, the athletic director at Louisiana Monroe.
Yes.
Justin Walsh, we haven't heard from you in a while because this show has gone off the rails. Why don't you give us your thoughts here for this final game of the quarterfinals on New Year's Day?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. Not a whole lot of thoughts on this game aside from, like Matt said, I'm just very interested to watch. I think it's going to be a very good game. As he said, it is hard to beat a team twice in the same season. I don't care. Give me the dogs, -6.5. I think Georgia's going to be ready to go. I think Kirby Smart's going to have the guys ready to play. I would love to see that. There are very few things in this playoff that I would love to see more than Ole Miss go out and win a championship just to spite Lane Kiffin. But I don't think they can get through this Georgia team. Like I said, not a whole lot else to say. Georgia -6.5. I think I like the under here just because I think Georgia's defense is going to be able to hold Ole Miss a little more in check this time. But yeah, I like the dogs -6.5 here. I think it's the play.
Jay Walsh, I just wanted to bring up, I don't know how much of it is spiting Lane Kiffin. Like, I don't know if he's going to be mad if Ole Miss win a national championship, because LSU is paying his playoff bonuses from Ole Miss. So if they win, he's making money. So he may actually be rooting for them, which makes it more funnier if he is at the game on Thursday. So
That's LSU is really paying him playoff bonuses for games that they're not in.
Yes, he is getting paid for his bonuses he would have got from Ole Miss if he was coaching in those games. So he made I believe $250,000 for them beating up on Tulane.
But he didn't play it. He didn't coach in that game.
No, he did not.
He's still
Instead,
getting
he was
paid
shoplifting. He was taking the cart home with him.
And instead, he's still getting paid for a game that he didn't coach.
Yes.
By an employer that is not benefiting from said game.
Correct.
Gotcha. Just wanted to make sure I got the situation correct there.
Hey, that's what we're here for on the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. We always like to clarify our facts. So let's get into it. Let's get into the picks. I don't even know who I want to start with this week. Matt, I'll go with you. You look the most prepared right now.
Oh boy. All right. Here we go. We went 3-3-1 in the first edition of Bowl Mania and the College Football Playoff first round. Shout out Western Michigan, JMU, and UTSA. Everybody else dead to me. Oklahoma dead. Miller Moss. Houston pushed. Whatever. I got it at 3 flat. I was pissed because it closed at 1.5. But what can you do? And then Tennessee. The SEC might suck. I'm not quite sure. But anyways, into this week. Manny Diaz, baby. Darian Mensah. I wrote this down because I wasn't sure how we were doing this a week and a half ago when we did our first set of picks. So I had this down 2 weeks ago. I had a Duke -1.5. I'm sticking with it. It's up to 3. Duke -1.5. Yeah, I'll still take it at 3. Arizona State, no quarterback. They're terrible. They don't have a quarterback. At both these teams, there's going to be a 90% blitz rate combined between these two teams. It's going to be fun. You need to be strapped in as soon as that game kicks off tomorrow. Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson, final game of his career. And what better way than in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl in the middle of El Paso. It doesn't get much better than that, folks. Absolutely cannot wait. Moving on. Texas -7. Need I say less? Is Bit Poggi coaching in the Cuck chair for this game?
I think it's Whittingham. I
know he's there with his Fanatics or his Amazon Michigan hat on 2-day delivery. But I don't think Whittingham's coaching. That's even of a worse idea.
Well, I mean, it's Michigan, so what do you expect?
Ward Manuel do something else stupid. Well, that's what I expect. Anyways, Texas -7, Arch Manning. Hook 'em. Moving on. Speaking of Kyle Whittingham, Utah -14. Nebraska couldn't stop the run to save their life this year. And Utah's just going to do what they always do, which is run the football with Devin Dampier. And Nebraska's offense isn't going to be able to do very much tomorrow afternoon. So give me Utah and the Utes -14. Cover 2 touchdowns in the Vegas Bowl. Next up, give me Ole Miss +6.5. They'll cover the touchdown. Even though I think they'll win, I am very confident that they'll be able to cover a touchdown in the Sugar Bowl. Final 2 picks into the new year. Give me Texas State wow, that line has jumped. I wrote it down. It was 11.5. Now it's up to 14. They play Rice, who's 5-7, the annual 5-7 bowl team because they have the best academic standing in the country. Texas State loves to score points, as Mr. Justin Walsh knows. They're going to do it again. Where's this game? This is the Lockheed Martin Independence Bowl, correct? Or
Armed Forces Bowl.
Right, but it's sponsored by Lockheed.
Today.
But it's sponsored by Lockheed Martin.
Yes.
which is absolutely
it would make
spectacular.
sense for the Armed Forces Bowl to be sponsored by Lockheed Martin.
I absolutely love that. That's my favorite bowl game to tell people who, like, of my poli-sci friends that don't, actually I won't call them friends because that's not what they are, but poli-sci people in James Madison, that would be like bowl games are so not real, and I would tell them the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, and they think I'd be lying. Give me Texas State. Have to pick this game. They're going to cover 2 touchdowns against the Owls. Where's this game played? Shreveport?
No, this is Fort Worth, where TCU plays.
Correct. Okay. Home game for Texas State, essentially, kind of. San Marcos is close enough. Moving on, final pick of the week. Give me Arizona -2.5 against SMU. Noah Fafita, baby. Back on the train 12 months later. And I love him. Scott
Dark
Brennan.
Horse Heisman.
He might be. I think he's got 1 more year left. He's Kyler Murray when Kyler Murray's good. They've won 5 in a row. They're going to win a 6th in a row. 10-win season on the line. And Jeff, I don't remember what the head coach's name is for SMU, but he stinks.
Rhett Lashley.
Stupid fucking name.
Give me
Kevin Jennings, turnover machine. Give me Zona in the Holiday Bowl. Gus Johnson's calling that, right? Gus Johnson, Noah Fafita. Oh, Fafita! Ah! Got Joe Klatt going off the entire game about how this game shouldn't be played and bowl games should be banned, as if it's not allowing him to be able to afford another suit. Anyways, Arizona -2.5. Lock of the week. Originally, it was going to be Duke because I thought Dillingham was going to be a Michigan head football coach by the time this game was played. I still like Duke, obviously. Fuck it. Hottie toddy. +6.5. Ole Miss. Lock of the week. Lock it in. Trinidad. Any other impressions you want me to do, Jay? Trinidad. Put Fox. Let Fox call the Sugar Bowl.
They shouldn't have tore down Qualcomm Stadium. They just kept it there just for that game. They're playing at Petco Park now.
No.
Wait, what?
No, Snapdragon. I'm sorry.
They are at Snapdragon again.
Oh, good lord!
It just should have kept it at Qualcomm or whatever.
Snapdragon's in the MLS place, right?
Well,
it's
yes,
but
it's
where San Diego State plays.
San Diego State. MLS rents it out.
What do they even rent it out for?
What do you mean? I just said for MLS.
There's no MLS in San Diego last time I checked.
Yes, there is. San Diego FC. They finished first in the West this year.
Since when is there a San Diego? I don't believe you.
Go look it up. Go look at their logo.
I guarantee you they have not existed before. They were not the A or BC before COVID. They did not exist BC.
I mean, you would be correct.
Okay, so
this year was their first year.
Oh, no shit. Okay. But this stadium's existed for years, has it not?
It has. It opened up in like 2023 or 2022. San Diego Wave have also played there. That is the NWSL team.
I have heard of the San Diego Wave somehow, probably because of being on Teamworks way too much. But
well, I mean, they also had one of the most famous.
Right.
Take it back to Petco, Slam Diego, Holiday Bowl, Gus Johnson, Noah Fafita.
Rebuild Qualcomm. All right, I'm gonna make my picks now. Okay, we're gonna go to the RallyQuest Bowl. I'm taking Iowa +5.5. One, because Diego Pavia is a tool. Some may call him a douche. He's the new douche on the show. Iowa keeps it close because screw Diego Pavia.
Are you ready for him to have extra eligibility moving forward?
Exactly.
Is he opting out of this game?
No, he's playing.
No,
he's playing, and the Iowa defense is going to stick it to him. So give me Iowa +5.5. A little too many points in that. I also do like Duke. Also because Arizona State's starting Jeff Sims, and Jeff Sims is dog shit. Yes, I remember him. I remember watching him when he played in Nebraska. Turnover machine. So give me Duke -3. Also because Darian Mensah is playing. So Enough said. I also two of the college football playoff games, Texas Tech. I mean, enough said. I think they get it done. I think their D line's incredible. Like I said earlier in the show, it could be like a Dante Moore late game winning drive, and their defense will show up when it matters most. So give me Texas Tech, and then give me Georgia. Like I said, I think they get it done. I think they'll be ready to go. I think they're just way too talented up front. So give me Georgia minus 6.5. So those are my 4 picks for the week.
Jay Walsh, or wait, Jay, what is your lock?
Yeah, good point. Duke, it's going to be Duke. Thought about Iowa, but give me Duke with Darian Mensah.
Jay, do you remember when Georgia Tech had a dark horse Heisman and Jeff Sims, even though Jahmyr Gibbs was the running back that he would be handing the football to? Those were good times.
Good times. And then Jeff Sims went to Nebraska, and then he threw like 4 picks against Colorado, and then everyone was priming Deion's pump. So that was like the peak of Deion's. Yeah.
The man just loves to turn the football over. He might have the same vision as Jameis Winston. They probably go to the same optometrist. Moving on.
All right, Jay Walsh. Let's hear it.
All right. I will I'll go ahead and just start making my picks. I'm not sure how I'm gonna live up to what the last 5-10 minutes here has been, but I'll try my best. I don't love the fact that apparently we're all taking Duke, because I also have Duke minus 3.5. Obviously, I mean, we've kind of talked about it already. Darian Mensah playing. Sam Levitt is a bitch.
He's injured.
Wait, who's a bitch?
Sam
Levitt. He's
I think that Darian Mensah was a bitch.
No, Sam Levitt.
Yes.
But anyway, Duke minus 3.5. Going into the playoff games, I have 3 of them. Like I mentioned, we've already talked about them. Miami plus 9.5, Texas Tech plus 2.5, and then Georgia minus 6.5. Not a whole lot else to say about those. We already talked about them. My final pick in what is the most important game of the next week, we are going to the FCS National Championship. Montana State minus 10.5 against Illinois State. Give me the Bobcats all the way. We are feeling great about it. Big Sky represent. Montana State minus 10.5. I know I can see Nick Burt shaking his head, so I'm pretty sure he had a pick into this game and is just a little upset that somebody beat him to it. So here we go.
Jay, well, let's get to your lock before I start complaining.
Lock of the week, I will go with Texas Tech plus 2.5.
Okay. Whatever. I thought I was going to be the only one with the FCS game on the board. I made this whole production that it was going to be my lock too, which I'm glad you didn't take it as a lock. It's still my lock, but Jesus Christ. Montana State minus 10.5 is my lock of the week. Let's get into the other picks.
I didn't mean to steal your thunder there.
I truly don't care. Texas minus 7.5 in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Kyle Whittingham maybe coaching in this game. Who knows? I don't like Michigan. Give me the Longhorns, hook 'em. As I said, Alabama money line. Just they're going to run for 50 yards and still somehow win this game, just like they did last time. Why not? Navy minus 7.5 in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl from the Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee. They're taking on Cincinnati. I don't know who's playing for Cincinnati, but it's always hard to prepare for a Naval Academy. The last time I took a Naval Academy, minus more than a touchdown, they won quite easily, and that was Army over UConn. So give me Navy there. Give me Arizona minus 2.5 against SMU. They're just, who knows? I like the Wildcats in this one. Those are my 5 picks. As I said, my lock of the week is the FCS title game taking place in the house Diego Pavia built in Nashville. Because why not? Sure. Yeah. hopefully nobody opts out of these games like Skylar Bell did for UConn. Hey, he played one drive. That wasn't a good look.
Oh, you didn't like his chain or his outfit change?
His Jesus piece that was larger than Christ's cross itself.
I had to explain the Aretha Franklin comment to my father this afternoon.
Well, you didn't know she was dead.
I didn't know either. I did not know she was dead. Anyways, speaking of Mike Merrifield, he said that he should be on this show because, quote, I've only lost 2 bets in bowl season so far this year. And then he proceeded to tell me I'm going to sweep today's slate too. And then Louisiana Tech didn't cover by half a point.
Well, how did the other games go?
He did take Illinois. I have no idea who he took tonight.
Okay.
But nor do I care. But yeah, he just so I don't even think he's definitely lost more than 2 because I know damn well he took Louisville because I told him to. And he missed another one.
Who do you have on the island?
He took Hawaii. He knows to take Hawaii on the island. I can't remember. I have no idea if he took the Arizona Bowl. I don't think he got North Texas. He definitely took Missouri. There's a lot of holes in his statement. There's a lot of just, hey, I think I've done this, and there's not. But you know what? God bless his soul. He's currently leading Iowa to a national championship in college football 26 as we speak. I can hear the menu playing from the other room. All right, let's talk OHL trade deadline.
OHL trade deadline. What do we got to say, Matt? Birds are back.
The Birds are back. They need a defenseman, in my opinion. I don't know. That's about all I got. Apparently, Michael Misa is on the trade block.
Hey,
apparently, Saginaw shopping Misa.
Why not? Look at the draft picks they could get.
So the Flint Firebirds are buying this year, I assume?
They're buyers at the deadline.
Are we giving up like two first round picks and
for a 45
considerations?
And for a 45-year-old to get a cornerback that gets hurt and then your quarterback gets hurt who's on a 1-year deal, so you now don't have a future. And then
what kind of team would do something like that?
The best part, Jay Walsh, is that not only have the Colts lost every game since early November or mid-November, whenever it's been, in that same span, both the Texans and the Jaguars have not lost. How is that possible?
Oh yeah, by the way, shout out Sauce Gardner for going, I believe it was 1-7 on the Jets, being traded to the Colts, tearing his ACL, and now the Colts are 1-6 since that trade.
He would have the first overall pick in the draft.
Yes, he would have the first overall pick.
I know
and
Nick
torn ACL.
Because I sent it to him or he sent it to me. But did you see the stat that since, I don't even remember how many weeks ago it's been, like last 7 weeks, there have been like 18 games that could significantly improve the Colts' playoffs chances. Now, half of them were their own games, which they've lost. But every single game, the other 9 or 8 games, have also gone against the Colts. They are 0-18 or whatever it is now in games that could help their playoff chances. How does that happen?
Hey, Old Man River will lead you to the promised land.
He's not even the problem somehow.
Dadgummit.
Dang.
I wonder what Charlie
also, why are we paying Riley Leonard for brief instances? What is that about?
Hey, you got to bring him in for those Hail Marys. God knows Phillip Rivers can't throw the ball more than 25 yards in the air anymore.
How did we get to this point? We looked so good. Sure, did we play anybody? Not really, but we looked so good.
Who would have thought
Halloween. One word, injuries.
To the success of the Indianapolis Colts.
Did our owner stop hanging out on the sideline with a headset on? Because I feel like I haven't seen anything about that. Like I need her reactions while we're losing 8 straight fucking games.
Honestly, it's probably a good move from her because you can get away with doing that, and it's cute and cool when you're doing that with a winning team. if you have the owner that's on the sidelines with a clipboard and a headset, and you're in the midst of a 1-6 slide with a 50-year-old grandfather at quarterback, it's not a great look.
I think more teams should have their owner on the sideline with a headset. Imagine Martha.
Hey, she's not the owner anymore.
Imagine Martha Goodyear Ford or Firestone Ford. Or
Hey, get your tire company straight.
Goodyear.
Martha Firestone Ford.
Or how
Michelin
about
Ford.
Arthur Blank? How about we get him looking like the Godfather on the sideline? Strap a headset on him.
Oh, God.
Don't give a headset to Sharon. Actually, Sharon Moore would wear a headset. But never mind. Never mind. I don't know what else to say. Why are we still recording? Let's end this.
Okay. I was going to tell Jay, fun fact, the OHL, you can't trade first-round picks, but...
You can't? I didn't know that.
Well, they should. Trade for a 45-year-old goaltender or whatever.
Jay, I'm going to send you the most recent trade that the Firebirds made 2 days ago, and look at all the draft picks. Draft capital is a fugazi in the OHL. Every trade
Matt,
is 10 picks.
What's happening in your household? I just heard your father yell no.
Mike's like pissed. He's like, no.
They're yelling about, I think, something about cocktail sauce for the New Year's Eve party tomorrow. I don't know.
Mike didn't put the right ingredient in the cocktail sauce.
I don't know. Jay, come over tomorrow.
All right, on my way. Because I don't want to work tomorrow, so.
Syntax working on New Year's
Yes,
Eve.
they're making me work.
Woke
Stupid.
nonsense.
It's very un-American. The New Year's
No comment. All right. Now let's end it before Jay gets fired for bad mouthing his employer on the internet.
All right. We're wrapping it up for 2025. What a great year it's been. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. We will be back in 2026, back and better than ever. It's going to be the same shenanigans, probably as always. But we do truly thank you for watching. We will see you again in the near future, probably next week. Who knows? I don't know when the semifinals fall.
Who cares?
Next week. We'll figure it out. We'll see you again next week for another episode of the Merrifield Sportsbook Show.